Reception to this was actually pretty positive on the first video I made, so I figured I might as well try to cover some general strategies for some of the remaining boss fights in the game. I'm going to try to limit story spoilers as best I can for these kind of videos. Going to try to only show the battles. So the first thing I definitely recommend by this point in the game is definitely get knowledge of tools. That allows demons to use items. It's extremely good, because a lot of items are very, very good in this game. And that is going to be one of the best things you can possibly use your glory on. As far as Essence Fusion, I currently have these resistance on Nahabino. Nothing that you really need to worry about in this fight as far as that, because he uses mostly physical attacks anyway. You can give yourself some physical resist if you want, but it's not really required. The one thing I do recommend more than anything, though, no matter who you use, is try to get one of these things. Surin. That Cautious Cheer spell is really, really good as a buff. As a magic attack user, I think Lilium's really good, since she has a pretty high magic stat and electric spells, which the upcoming boss is weak to. And like I said, the Surin has Cautious Cheer. It increases the defense and evasion and accuracy of the entire party, all in one spell. I have a pretty standard general physical setup on Navino right now. Just have some extra max HP just to make surviving against this dude easier. He hits really hard. That's basically his gimmick. He uses mostly physical attacks, although he has a couple magic attacks. Although the one magic attack he's going to use is pretty telegraphed most of the time. My general strategy here is just to debuff his attack and defense, and buff my defense and evasion and accuracy. He has very high evasion for a boss enemy as well, so this is another reason Cautious Cheer is really good. It allows us to survive attacks much easier and everything else. I have Basilisk as the last slot right now, just because I figured it would be probably the best thing you could do. Basilisk has really high vitality and a lot of health, so I figured having a decent tank in the party might be pretty beneficial. You can see right there he can also raise his own attack. That's another reason you definitely want something to lower his attack as well. And Lilium can throw in some Zyongas to get some turn order priority. Surin also has Zyonga for me, so I can also do that when I need to. Main thing is just get your buffs up, the defense and evasion and accuracy up as soon as possible with Cautious Cheer. I think that's one of the best skills. I think this demon, just that one skill alone, makes it really worth having in a lot of boss fights. Once you got a decent setup, you can fish for crits with Aramasa, or get guaranteed press turns with electric attacks if you think you need to get to a next turn as soon as possible. And now that was just unlucky. Sometimes things happen in SMT like that, where your demon gets crit, so it doesn't even matter that you did have high vitality and get crit up and everything. Fortunately, I have a couple other strong demons that can come in and fill the void here. My tanking strategy didn't exactly work out there, but as long as Surinup's still alive, as long as Lilium's still alive, and obviously as long as the main guy's still alive, it doesn't really matter that much. That was kind of just a filler slot, just trying to tank everything out. Ame no Uzumi has some skills that can still be very useful in this fight as well. I use Masakanda to lower his accuracy and evasion even further, just because evading attacks is one of the best approaches to this fight, in my opinion. Ame no Uzumi has Zyonga as well, which is his weakness for me, so I'm just gonna use that to get an extra turn here to lower his defense a bit further now. So the main thing in this fight is just keep your defense buffed if you can, if you have a skill that can do that, and then keep his attack nerfed as much as possible, because he can hit extremely hard with his most powerful attack. You just saw it on that last turn. And he can also lower your own defense. There's a ton of things he can do to just almost one-shot you, and that's why I think defense is one of the most important things you can possibly do in this fight. Anyway, I've got a decent setup here, so I go ahead and use my critical buff. Since I took some damage, Beatdown's not actually going to be my strongest attack anymore. It would actually be the Almighty attack, but I didn't want to use too much MP just because these boss fights can take a while, so I just default to Aramasa instead. Lilium uses a pretty powerful move. I reactivate Cautious Cheer again to make sure I keep that buff going into the next round of the fight. Use Zyonga with Ame no Uzume. And all in all, the general thing is just the buffs more than anything. The other demons are kind of interchangeable, just have a good attacker with electric abilities. And just make sure you can generate press turns more than anything. And also make sure your demons have access to item uses, because being able to use items is really, really good. You can even use electric gems on demons with high magic attack that might not have electric attacks to attack them with, and that can also be very helpful. And make sure you have a decent source of healing. Serenup also has Diorama for me, so he's going to be able to heal a decent amount. I'm now full health on Nahavino, so beatdown's a more viable option for damage. So I go ahead and do that for 150 damage there almost. Another Zyanga just to get another press turn. And we're running out of MP on Serenup here. So I probably am going to have to do something to heal that soon. Luckily, I have what I need for that. I use Masakanda to lower his accuracy and evasion even further, just to make the fight a little bit easier going forward. I generate a press turn by using Zyanga with Ame no Uzume. Now, this is pretty standard, as you can see. Just keeping him gimped as much as possible and keeping us buffed as much as possible is the main thing more than anything. And now I can use the demon item here to give us a fire nullifying barrier, because he activated Magatsuhi for the next turn here, and every time he does that, he seems to favor Miragion. So using a fire dampener will just block that entire turn and allow us to get through that. So even though my Nahavino was weak to fire, that's the only time he uses a fire attack, so it's really easy to see coming and telegraph, and that allows us to get past that part of the fight. So really, the only thing you really have to worry about is physical attacks. I think he actually has an electric attack as well, but he doesn't really use it that often from my experience. Or it might be a wind attack. I can't remember which one it is. But he doesn't use that often. He usually sticks to physical attacks. And his gimmick, quote-unquote, is just that he hits really, really hard, so... The general idea is just keep chipping him down with Zyangas, keep yourself buffed with the other party members that can't generate press turns as easily, and make sure all your resources like MP and everything is good to go at all times. If you do not have Serenup, I don't know if there's a way to get an AoE defense or accuracy and evasion buff besides him at this point in the game. I don't know why he has such a powerful, unique spell at this point in the game, but I mean, I'm not complaining at all because it makes this fight certainly a lot easier than it would be otherwise. I know very, very soon you can get an AoE attack buff, so you probably can get an AoE defense buff as well. So that's something I would definitely recommend. If you don't have that, you absolutely need to make sure you keep his attack nerfed as much as possible with Tarunda or whatever skill it does that nerfs attack. I can't remember exactly. Because otherwise, he will be very, very dangerous to fight against. Now, I think he activated Magatsuhi again here, so I'm probably going to use another fire dampener. You can buy the dampener items at the shop, so you should never not have them, and since demons can also use items, you should never have to worry about that either. Also, make sure general SMT rule, if you can generate a press turn guaranteed, I would definitely do that. Just because it gives you some extra chip damage, and you're still free to use other things that you definitely need to do with other characters like buffs and stuff like that. So yeah, once again, he really likes using Miragion after using that. I've never seen him use anything else, so I think that's probably a safe bet to assume that you can probably just go for that. At this point, I can pretty much just buff myself one more time, wait for the next Magatsuhi gauge, which is going to happen next turn, and then probably just go in for the kill at that point. Because he's on red health now. So as long as I can survive one final turn here, so I don't actually have to refresh this, I don't think, because it would stay applied for the remainder of this turn, but I think I just did it anyway, just in the interest of general safety. I go ahead and swap Ame out for Oni here, because Oni has physical resistance and a lot of vitality, and I don't want to risk having a party member dying on like the last turn here. So I just play it really safe, since I had two demons low on HP, and Lilim is definitely a stronger demon at this point in the game, and I wanted to keep her. It's always good to have more than 3 good demons for any fight. Switching can be beneficial, and can take a load off you. I go ahead and use Concentrate on Lilim. It's a little risky, because if she does get targeted, she could die, but I decide to play it like that. Fortunately, I get really lucky, and he targets Oni. I might have actually used Taunt. I don't think I did, though, but I might have. And at this point, though, I'm going to just go in for the critical turn and finish him off here. Not too bad of a fight. It's really just you got to be able to prepare yourself to hit him, to survive his really hard hits and be in for a decently long fight with his high-ish HP total. So as you can see here, he's definitely going to die this turn unless something catastrophic happens. So that's probably going to cover it for this fight strategy. I've got the next one prepared as well. I ended up with the style Almighty attack there, just because it looks really cool. Not too bad of a fight overall. I think it was pretty tough, but fair as long as you know how to prepare against it. Probably a lot tougher if you don't have the really broken AoE party buff, and probably going to use a lot more resources if you don't, but this is just a pretty good general strategy you can use to make sure you can get past it without much issue at all. If you enjoyed, look forward to my future videos on this. I probably plan to make a general guide on the combat optimizations that you can do, and World of Shadows stuff like Demon Fusion and stuff to increase your odds and everything like that to be really optimal. So look forward to that, and thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day.